allow the location permission on each. So let's start with setting up the client, this one.
Yes.
I'll do the navigation, say I'm done. Okay, then they enter the phone number, username, password. So we are setting this as client. So I'll select client and I'll click sign up. So for the client, it's very easy. They do this, they are done. They don't need to do anything else.
Yes.
Okay. So now let me set up the provider. Same process. Enter the phone number. They can set a password, whichever password they want. So for this one, I'll select provider and click sign up. So the providers have an extra step where they need to select which service they are going to offer. So for this case, this will be a gas delivery person. So I'll select gas delivery. And after that, you can click save. So there's this option of setting up the profile, but they can do that immediately if they want, or if they don't want to do it immediately, they can still always come to the menu and click on this, which will allow them to take a picture and set it as their profile. So let me just see if I can. I need to come back there and share, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is the picture
Yeah,
that
I
they
see.
did set. So right now we have the provider application on the right side setup and the client application on this side setup. So if you can see, by default the provider is always offline, so that if they're just setting up and they were maybe they were setting this up at night in their living room to receive any new requests for the gas delivery or anything. So we allow them to specify when they want to start receiving requests, which they do by clicking that toggle there. So if they click on it, will check it, tell them status online, you will receive notifications, which basically indicates that now when somebody makes a request, they can receive a notification. In the evening, when they've closed work and they no longer want to receive any other requests, they can click that and can say status offline, you no longer receive requests until you switch it back on. So for this demo, I'll switch it on. Maybe another thing is this notification. So this allows us to send communications to the providers, but when they set up for the first time, they get this default notification, which thanks them for joining Kazitech as a service where we will send you farm jobs and take care of payment processing, invoicing, and customer service. And they can drag to refresh this to check new notifications. Sorry. Yes, so let's go to this client side. So maybe one more thing on the provider side, so they can see history. This basically lists the service request they have received, and the wallet is the Kazitech wallet feature, which we can't decide to release it, but we'll discuss it after this in terms of viability for release, and of course basic settings, which I'm sure you have gone through. Yeah, so let's see the client. So the client is welcomed with this screen that has the same notifications as we saw on the provider side. So on the client side, you say, thank you for joining Kazitech. We strive to make services available at affordable prices for you. Simply select the service you need from the list, and a service provider will be made available instantly. So that's just a default notification that comes with the device. will get them immediately, but yeah, eventually they struggle to get that disease. So also for the client, they have the menu which has the history, which requests they've been making. They have a wallet, which is the Kazitech wallet feature, and they have settings. So remember we registered this guy as a gas delivery person. So I'll make a gas delivery request. Should be able to maybe doing the 12 kg or the 6 kg. So okay, shillings 2,000. So one thing I went ahead and enforced is instructions and payment method. So they need to provide that. So you see, it's telling them to provide the payment method. Let's say they are paying this with the card. They try to proceed. They'll be asked to add additional instructions for the provider, which they can say deliver a gas to all. So this instruction is supposed to help the client provide additional information for the provider, just to make it easy for them. Although having the chat, then they would also communicate in case of directions and things like that. So here we have location. So it picks the near location automatically, but the provider can choose to change that. So you just need to click on the location. You'll give them the option, just use current location or add address. So if they click add address, it gives them the dialogue, and they can say specifically, like for me, I'm in Lupe. Lupe Hospital. Go see Alupa. Okay, maps doesn't know about Lupe. So the nearest place here is Lurambi Shopping Center, Kakamega. And they select that, and that becomes the location that will be shared with the provider. So after they've provided this information, we can click locate expert, and the request goes to the server for this expert to be found. So we should be receiving a notification on this side. Yeah, there's a notification.
Where is the notification?
Yeah, here is the notification. Service request comes like this. When they click on it, it gives them more information about the request. So you've seen the notification?
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, so when they so in the notification, they can see the details at the end of the instructions: deliver K-gas to Room Hall Apartment House. So this notification is sent to all the providers that are registered to provide gas delivery services. So the one who will accept it, by looking at the instructions and seeing whether they able to this location. So the one who will accept it first will be able to be linked. So in this screen, you can see there's the clients, the service that's been requested, the service location. So I'm still having issues with this, but Google Map takes care of that because it will show the exact service location on map. Then the amount that is supposed to be paid. The bottom you have client instructions, which is deliver K-gas to non apartments house 12. So at this point, the provider is able to choose the option of either accepting or declining it. So if they click decline, you just ignore this, and hopefully somebody else will pick it up. They click accept. Then give them this dialogue. Are you sure you want to accept this service request? If they say yes, then you can see the client is notified immediately that your request was successful. Kazitech found a provider for you, which is this particular provider. So on the provider side, they're called polylines, but basically it's a way of getting instructions on the map. So using this long for as a demo, but it will the same place and the same place, so it would be. But basically, be able to get his, let's say, is in Ngong Road and the client is in town. Then to show
Ye- yes.
yeah, and of course the clients I show there and this person not to message which are basically not done as I explained. So let's go back to the client. So the client received this notification that request successfully, request was successfully accepted. So if they click on that notification, it will open this screen which has the details for the service request also, the service request they made. And on this, they'll be able to see where the provider is in form of these code lines. They're able to see the provider's name, remember, register their rating, and since it's a cash service request, I have this by default that anytime the provider has already come in and the request, they can just come in. So other information like the name of the service and the status of the service will also be available there. The payment. Yeah, so I proceed to the other stages.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, do you have any comments?
Yeah. So far we are good. So far we are good. Let's proceed.
Okay.
Mm. Or give me 1 minute again. Give me 1 minute again.
Okay, fine.
Sam, let's go on. Sam.
Yes, so yes, so let's say this, so the service provider has accepted the request, so they don't have to keep that screen open. They can just go to dashboard and know that they're supposed to do that request. What the providers are able to get is when they go to histories, will load this ongoing. If they forgot some information and they want to know like the status of the service request and everything, they can go ahead and say and see the information. So here they're able to see, but in addition to cash requests, we notify them to collect cash. So that they might assume that it's M-Pesa and we've already received the payment and we actually haven't. So and also to reduce blame, we have that message for them in caps lock that they're supposed to collect cash back this amount. And after that, they're supposed to pay partnership fees of 200. So this is what I was discussing with you earlier. So we decided to provide this as a part of the lead application so that we don't have to follow up with them. We don't have to do an example of going to M-Pesa and doing the pay bill. Just by tapping this button, we'll be able to deduct this amount from the M-Pesa and have it as our commission rate. So that goes to our pay bill number. And that transaction is also recorded in the server to make sure that we're able to trace it later on. If the providers paid the commission for this service request. Yeah, so after that, let me inside. So he has come, provided, delivered the cars that was requested. So what does the provider do after this? So the provider, I mean the client should notify us that they pay by clicking on that pay cash button. So yeah, I'm thinking of providing them an alternate way to change the payment method. If no, maybe somebody has come in and they realize they don't have cash in their house when they thought they had cash, then they can change the payment method with the card or M-Pesa. But it's still an idea that I'm floating and so that but otherwise they can click pay, which for us indicates that that payment was done, and the plan is do a notification. So you see when I click pay, it sent a notification to the provider, basically telling them that the client has told us that they have paid this amount. And it says, dear provider, your provider service fee of Shillings 2,000 has been paid via cash for gas delivery. So but this should indicate the partnership contribution. So I'm still doing this as part of M-Pesa integration of the servers. That's why this basically is a notification to tell the provider that we've been notified that the client has already paid. If in case you had not collected the cash, the client has said they paid you the cash, so proceed to pay the partnership fees.
Yes.
Yeah. So then, after they've paid the cash, they're provided this screen where they can rate the provider. So it's a normal star rating, and they're given the name of the provider there. So let's say this provider was very good, so I can provide a 4-star rating. This described experience is an optional thing. Most people probably will not have the time, but if somebody has the time, then they can provide a detailed review there. Maybe even do an yeah. So then this is what we were discussing in the group the other day. So in form of on top of this describing the experience, which they can give us some very vague feedback like excellent service or very good. This particular section of the should get more analytical, insightful feedback in terms of how their service request went. And the good thing with it is, since it is specific questions, you can do analytics on it
Chukua Maira
and
muende mcheze
see
nje.
how customers are responding
Beba
the
Maira.
services. So one of the questions you can get there is, did the service provider deliver the service requested?
Enda mwambie mama
They can
Maira.
say yes.
Maira anasumbua baba.
Was the provider punctual? They can choose no, not sure, yes. So all of them have those fixed responses. Did the service provider communicate probably? They can say yes if that was the case. But they have the option to skip all of this and maybe just provide the rating. And click this.
Bado nafanya kazi.
That is the end of that service request. So in terms of this service, you should notice is when we go to history, it indicates processing payment. And the reason why it indicates that is because the service provider has not yet provided these partnership fees. And on the provider side, also refresh, they say processing payment. So even if I load the full screen, you can see it's saying processing payment. So that's a sync between the client and the provider. So when the provider eventually pays this partnership fees through our pay bill number, then we can mark this service request as complete. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else I can demo at this time. Yeah, and I added this last minute, so for ongoing service requests, they can be able to see them on the dashboard. So yeah, it will list several. Currently there's only one, so you can see the information.
Wacha bado nafanya nayo kazi.
The instructions provided by the
Maira.
client and the status of it. So the other additional thing is, so they can always dismiss
Ngoja
that.
kidogo.
The other addition is they're able to see
Please. Ngoja kidogo.
their main map. I want this to make it a bit small,
Please.
but
Ende
ideally
mwambie
this
mama
should
akuje kuchukue Maira.
the client location for that because that's the request that was there, but something as I submitted earlier to use in case the phone was in the pocket and the notification comes in silently, it might not help. So we have a sound of notifying of the new service request. So let me just make another one. Let's see.